My maid, pretending to be me, secretly fell in love with him, the man staying as a guest at the Prime Minister's mansion, and got pregnant by him. After he topped the imperial exams and became the shuangwen, top scholar, he came to the mansion to propose marriage. And my father agreed. Desperate, the maid threw herself into the well, both she and the unborn child losing their lives. On our wedding night, he realized I wasn't the one he'd fallen for. He said nothing, but quietly started investigating, convinced it was my jealousy that had hounded the maid to her death. Over the next 10 years, he rose steadily through the ranks using the Prime Minister's influence. To the outside, he was gentle and caring toward me. Yet when the mansion got entangled in a treason case, he struck while we were down, letting my father be wrongfully killed and my entire family exiled. As for me, after years of his torment, I was thrown into an icy pond in the dead of winter and drowned. When I opened my eyes again, I found myself back on the day he came to the mansion to propose. Chapter 1. The biting cold and suffocating sensation of near drowning still clung to my bones. Pale-faced and trembling, I stared at my youthful reflection in the mirror, silently plotting Liam's demise. I knew he'd come proposing today with great fanfare, ensuring the entire capital took notice. The world would praise this divine match between the Wilson heiress and the new top scholar. In truth, his heart had been stolen by my maid Evelyn during his stay at Wilson Estate. My father, impressed by Liam's talent, had hosted this distant Anderson relative during his imperial examinations. Even my brother remarked on his scholarly promise. But Evelyn had seized her chance, impersonating me to seduce him. Their illicit affair resulted in pregnancy right before his triumph. Though indifferent to Liam personally, I'd recognized the marriage advantages a brilliant scholar indebted to Wilson patronage. With no troublesome relatives, when my parents sought my consent, I'd agreed. Yet now, mother's attendant Mrs. Chin reported, Mr. Anderson wishes to marry Evelyn. Madam says the decision rests with you. This confirmed Liam had also returned through time. Evelyn's 3-day illness concealed her precarious pregnancy. Leading Mrs. Chin to the servants' quarters, I found her pale but not yet showing. The top scholar wants you, I announced. Her startled blush betrayed guilt, but I asked no questions. Having made Luna dress her, I brought them to the parlor. Liam's eyes widened upon seeing Evelyn, reddening with emotion after a decade apart. When his gaze shifted to me, it hardened into hatred mirrored by my own burning wrath. Father's execution, mother's death in exile, brother's crippling, sister-in-law's suicide, nephews destroyed, our family's ruin, all Liam's doing. My loathing surged too violently to conceal. Young Master Anderson, I addressed coldly, when did our maid catch your eye? But who am I to oppose true love? Handing Evelyn her freedom papers, I declared, you're emancipated. Tears streamed down Evelyn's cheeks. Liam bowed stiffly, turning to leave. Wait. I nodded to the arriving physician. Dr. Huang, please examine Miss Davis. Startled, Evelyn flinched and hid behind Liam. Liam shot me a look of utter disdain. That won't be necessary. My mother signaled 2 sturdy maids to restrain Evelyn. Terrified of harming her pregnancy, the pale-faced girl reluctantly allowed Dr. Huang to examine her. Some signs of instability, but manageable with herbal tonics. The physician concluded. Shameless hussy, mother snapped. Blushing crimson, Evelyn instinctively moved to kneel in apology. Liam caught her arm. You're no longer Wilson Estate's servant. Turning to my mother, he declared with misplaced arrogance. Mrs. Wilson, this is my fiancé. Mind your words. He still carried himself like the Emperor's golden boy rather than the disgraced official he'd become. Mother smashed her teacup in fury. Father observed coldly. Impressive airs for a former top scholar. Lecturing my wife in her own home. Liam stiffened. Reality dawning. Any other health issues? I asked Dr. Huang. At his denial, I locked eyes with Liam. Mark this, your betrothed left Wilson estate unharmed. Should misfortune strike her later, we bear no responsibility. Also know this, any maid caught in illicit affairs could be executed per household law. The implied threat registered. Liam's confidence wavered as father expelled him from the estate. He nearly collided with Oliver in the courtyard. Mr. Wilson! Don't finalize Grace's engagement yet, consider me. Oliver's booming voice halted Liam's retreat. Oliver, the Duke of Taylor's spoiled youngest, had surprisingly ranked 37th in recent imperial exams through sheer spite. Though notorious for revelry, he'd proven fiercely loyal in my past life, the man who'd moved heaven and earth to clear my family's name after our downfall. Tears welled up unexpectedly. Are those happy tears or scared tears? Oliver gaped. I laughed through the moisture in my eyes. Foolish boy. Liam came to claim Evelyn. Not me. Oliver blinked at Liam. Well, unconventional taste. Our engagement formalized swiftly. Days later, Liam cornered me during market errands. Where even now that you've paid for Evelyn's death in your past life? He hissed. Stay docile and I'll spare your family. Oliver's no prize. But he'll do for your ilk. Forget me and behave, no more schemes against Evelyn. I'll overlook today's humiliation because you returned her indenture papers. But cross me again. His venomous glare mirrored our final confrontation in the previous timeline, though the threadbare scholar's robe and lack of jewels undermined his attempted menace. We're not even. I countered calmly. He sneered. Grace. Let it go. I never loved your spoiled, talentless self. Evelyn confessed your accomplishments were built on her and Luna's work. You knew about us all along. Didn't you? 10 years as my wife should have satisfied you. The bitter wind carried his parting shot, at least die quietly this time. My laughter startled nearby sparrows. Poor Liam, still blind to reality. You're not the Emperor's favorite anymore. Just another disgraced. His fist smashed into the courtyard wall. Raw knuckles bleeding through frayed sleeves. The pathetic display only deepened my mirth. This broken man couldn't possibly be the same ruthless politician who'd orchestrated my family's ruin. I left him clutching his injured hand. Winter sunlight glinting off the Wilson estate gates behind me. He truly was blind and foolish. In our past life, Evelyn not only stole my identity but also plagiarized the poetry I wrote. Every melody I played. Every painting I created. Even the unfinished chess games between my brother and me, she claimed them all as her own. While Liam might be excused for initially believing her facade of talent before learning her true nature. How could anyone remain so gullible after seeing the truth laid bare? Liam. I stared into his eyes. My voice glacial. My parents. Sister-in-law. And nephew, 4 lives. You don't get to declare us even with mere words. And my unborn children. 4 pregnancies lost over 10 years. Leaving me barren. How dare he speak of reconciliation? A bitter laugh escaped me. Liam. This ends only when one of us dies. Though my father already disliked Liam, I fueled his distrust. This scheming opportunist deliberately humiliated our family. When proposing to my maid, he could have done so discreetly. Instead, he made such a spectacle that half the capital thought he was courting the Wilson heiress. Were it not for Oliver stepping forward, I'd be the laughingstock of New York. As the Emperor's hand-picked scholar. Such recklessness reeks of political sabotage. He's likely aligned with your enemies. Father heeded my warning. I repeated similar concerns to the Crown Prince during casual conversation, watching satisfaction bloom as distrust clouded his features. The prince, being Oliver's cousin, had always treated me kindly. You should thank Liam, he joked upon hearing of our engagement. Without his blunder, Oliver wouldn't have rushed his proposal. Turning to Oliver, he added, "Name your wedding gift, within reason. Your country estate near the hot springs." Oliver replied without hesitation. The prince gaped. "Do you know what that's worth?" Oliver's ears pinked. "Grace gets cold easily." "Yes. I feared the cold." Liam knew this too, which made his chosen method of killing me all the crueler. Liam and Evelyn's rushed June wedding reeked of desperation. Where our previous union had dazzled the capital, this ceremony unfolded in rented squalor at Anderson residence. Though Liam splurged on catering, $500 per banquet for 10 tables, only neighbors attended. Not a single official graced the event. Rumor claimed Liam's face darkened with each empty hour. Blaming my father. He ambushed me at a jewelry store. A decade of marriage taught him my habits well. "You think I climbed high through your family's influence?" He spat. "The crown prince valued my policies and competence." "Security." I called to the manager. "Why are vagrants allowed here?" Watching him get ejected, crimson with rage, brought cold satisfaction. Despite his efforts, Liam couldn't reach the prince. No amount of talent could breach palace gates without connections until he groveled before Dennis. Adopting the castrato as his father and pledging his firstborn son for adoption secured Dennis's patronage. When Liam's political treatise finally reached the prince, it met the fireplace. "Pathetic." The prince scoffed. "Selling his child to a eunuch? No scholar's pride remains." Dennis nonetheless secured Liam a minor bureaucratic post. At General Martinez's birthday gala, I encountered Evelyn again. Her rounded figure strained against cheap muslin, the phoenix hairpin I'd once gifted gleaming incongruously in her braids. Our eyes met, color flooding her cheeks. People were whispering, "I can't believe the new Imperial examination top scorer would marry a maid. She's plain-looking, timid, and dressed worse than my own servants." Some called out mockingly, "Shouldn't you be attending your mistress?" Their disdain toward Evelyn stemmed from jealousy. Liam Anderson possessed both striking looks and brilliant intellect. Coveted by many across lifetimes, none could fathom him choosing a lowly maid. Evelyn kept fidgeting with her skirt until suddenly meeting my gaze. "Grace." She approached with red-rimmed eyes. "I know you resent me. But must you incite such humiliation? I'm the valedictorian's wife now. Why would I resent you?" I arched an eyebrow. "Your husband ranked 37th while mine tops the nation. Your nobility begrudging a servant's triumph." Her flawed logic amused me. Valedictorians aren't rare gems. 56 crowns since our dynasty's founding, with another due in 3 years. Besides, I smirked, surveying her homespun dress. "I've no taste for poverty." The crowd erupted in laughter, as tears spilled down Evelyn's cheeks. Sophia intervened. "Enough. She's with child," snapped the general's niece, my perennial rival for the capital's most accomplished lady title. Her intervention wasn't altruistic, merely another chance to oppose me. Yet warmth flooded my voice. "For your sake, I'll relent." Sophia recoiled. "Grace, are you ill?" Memories surfaced in our past life. Sophia's uncle had truly conspired with rebels. When the rebellion failed, her entire family faced execution. Rescued by Liam for resembling Evelyn, Sophia became his concubine yet secretly aided me. During my fatal illness, she feigned sickness to smuggle medicine. When Liam threw me into frozen waters, she screamed, "Hold on! Oliver cleared your family's name. Your brother returns." But I perished before dawn. Rising, I embraced my rival. "I concede you're the capital's foremost lady." Sophia shuddered. "Stop this madness." Later, I cornered Evelyn fleeing the banquet. "Notice your resemblance to Sophia? Though she's prettier, more cultured, and better born. Curious how the Andersons disapprove of her family." "You're sowing discord," she gasped, clutching her belly. "Ask Liam." Her fleeing figure shook. She'd never confront him directly. This former bondservant sold by her parents had no safety net beyond Liam's favor. Pregnancy hormones would magnify every glance he stole at Sophia, consuming his attention elsewhere. Sophia confronted me afterward. "What did you say?" She looked haunted. "Your uncle's dealings endanger your house. Warn your father discreetly." Her pallor matched Evelyn's as she rushed to alert her family. I'd done what fate permitted. Their survival now depended on fortune's wheel. 2 months later, the Martinez brothers had a bitter falling out. Rumor had it that General Martinez tried to manipulate Sophia's marriage arrangements. Though unsuccessful, the feud escalated dramatically. They split households and vowed eternal estrangement. I felt relieved. Sophia's father, a clear-headed man, would surely notice irregularities if he cared. Cutting ties swiftly might spare them future disasters. Unlike their tragic past fate, Sophia invited me to drunken immoral pavilion, gifting me an exquisite jewelry set. "My father insisted this be our gratitude," she said. I accepted without hesitation. Her demeanor toward me softened, and she now shared confidences. "That Liam acts strangely, gives me odd looks. Even called me Sophie once. My brother chased him off. Her father served as imperial lecturer favored by the crown prince. Liam likely sought his influence." Growing desperate as his godfather Dennis' connections proved fruitless. Having tasted power, he couldn't bear waiting years for royal favor. Commotion erupted across the hall. Opening our door, Sophia and I found Liam arguing with Oliver. Liam had tracked the crown prince here, but was denied entry by guards. When the prince sent Oliver to intervene, tensions flared. Spotting me, Oliver instantly switched from hostility to charm. "Grace, you must try their roasted squab, divine." He beamed. Drunken Liam redirected his fury. "Grace, you poisoned the prince against me. He'd never dismiss my policy essay without your meddling." Sophia gaped. "You're delusional. What's Grace got to do with this?" Liam softened only for her. "Sophia, distance yourself. Grace is jealous. Manipulative poison." Crimson-faced, Sophia snapped, "You're insane." Unfazed, I provoked, "That essay? The one the prince discarded?" Oliver chimed in, "If Grace says it's trash, it's trash." Our exchange smiles enraged Liam beyond reason. "Defy me again, Grace!" he roared, lunging. Oliver intercepted with a kick, but I tumbled downstairs anyway, forehead bleeding dramatically. Oliver's shout echoed through the tavern. "Liam assaults the Chancellor's daughter." Before explanations, he hurled Liam downstairs. Convalescing weeks later, I learned father wept before the emperor about Liam's attack, joined by Duke Chingen and Sophia's father. Censors piled on until the prince declared, "Such character disgraces imperial scholars." The emperor stripped Liam's honors and position, making him history's first disgraced top scholar. When limping Liam sought me, I brought an armed maid. His patched clothes hung loose on his gaunt frame. "Grace," he rasped. I was deceived. "Evelyn, she's illiterate. No talents." You were always." Evelyn's lies could deceive him temporarily, but not forever. Constant proximity would inevitably expose flaws. "I know you still care for me." By using Sophia to drive a wedge between us, you've proven your lingering affection. "Grace," he murmured tenderly, "you've already cost me my official position. Shouldn't this satisfy your anger? I promise to marry you willingly. We'll build proper lives together. I'll make you the most envied noblewoman in capital city, granting you the highest ranking title." The sheer audacity of male confidence never ceased to amaze me. I stared at him speechlessly. "What about Evelyn?" Encouraged by my response, he eagerly declared, "She deceived me first. Keeping her as a concubine instead of divorcing shows mercy. Considering her pregnancy, she'll remain to serve you as before." I burst into bitter laughter. Liam! In my past life, you spent 10 years avenging Evelyn. I thought your devotion ran deeper than oceans. Yet here you are, demoting your legal wife to a mistress for wealth. How pathetic! Do you think me desperate enough to choose a penniless nobody over the Taylor heir? His face paled then flushed crimson. I pressed harder. Weren't you so proud claiming achievements came through personal merit? Now see reality, you're a pathetic leech. Without the Wilson family's support, you're nothing. Your ambitions end here. Our influence will forever block your path to the Crown Prince's inner circle. Liam disappeared from public view for months until Prince Edward's arrival. The youngest royal uncle. For years senior to the Crown Prince, Prince Edward cultivated a reputation as a dissolute wastrel, an incompetent scholar. A mediocre warrior, notorious for extravagant scandals. It was a perfect disguise. In the previous life, none detected his treasonous ambitions until the rebellion erupted. Though confined to the Anyang domain without royal summons, he visited the capital annually for the Lunar New Year, staying 2 months with his mother, Dowager Consort Mu. Their profound bond delayed his uprising until her passing. My spies reported Liam's secret allegiance to Edward. Relief washed over me, predictable ambition. Having tasted power, he'd never settle for a commoner's existence. Barred from the Crown Prince's favor, he'd seek Edward's. Only he knew Edward's rebellion would nearly succeed 10 years later. Only his treacherous betrayal, infiltrating the rebel camp to sow discord between Edward and the strategist, enabled the Crown Prince's forces to crush the uprising. His heroic actions later gave credibility to false accusations against my father. He even theatrically knelt outside the palace gates, his forehead bleeding, pleading mercy for my father. The Wilson family escaped execution through his selfless intercession. Such noble hypocrisy! I withheld warnings about Edward's rebellion from the Crown Prince. Without evidence, accusing royalty risked alienation. Edward maintained an affectionate uncle-nephew facade, even saving the Crown Prince's life once. The prince cherished this rogue uncle, tolerating no slander. Liam knew this. He anticipated and welcomed any attempted exposure. Events a decade away left no present traces. Arrogantly, he believed without his interference, Edward's coup would succeed, granting him power second only to the emperor. During the lunar festivities, Evelyn bore a son and immediately surrendered him to Dennis. Publicly dependent on Dennis after losing his official post, Liam toiled in Dennis's shops. Evelyn resumed laundry work postpartum, her frostbitten hands resembling those of a servant. Encountering her gaunt figure, threadbare clothes, hollow eyes, sallow complexion, I invited her to Nobleman's Tavern. She gorged until retching, collapsing into sobs. I regret impersonating you to seduce him, miss. Nearby conversation abruptly pierced our privacy, engineered acoustics ensured. Her weeping ceased. She recognized Liam's voice. Liam Anderson was currently penniless. So how could he afford to dine at such an expensive restaurant? Brother Liam, you truly have foresight. In such a short time, you've become Prince Anne's most trusted confidant. Before returning to his fiefdom, His Highness specifically ordered your entire household to accompany him. Once you rise to prominence, don't forget this humble friend. Liam's triumphant laughter boomed through the hall. Naturally. He paused. The journey to Anyang is long. My elderly mother can't endure such travel. And my wife must stay to care for her. They won't be joining us. The man chuckled suggestively. In that case, you'll need companionship. What type of flower catches your fancy? I'll have arrangements made in Anyang. After consideration, Liam asked, do you know the eldest daughter of the Martinez family? So you prefer that variety. The Wilson heiress would also suffice. Understood. The clinking of wine cups followed. Evelyn's expression shifted from shock to delight, then to bitter resentment before settling into utter desolation. Her already lifeless eyes turned completely hollow. "Miss. What should I do? What can I do?" she murmured to me. On March 12th, Prince An departed for Anyang. 2 weeks later, his biological mother consort Mu was poisoned. The investigation eventually led to her palace maid, who under torture confessed to acting under orders from Dennis, Prince An's chief strategist. Though publicly known as a mere retainer, Dennis held immense influence over the prince. Consort Mu had suffered chronic illness for years yet stubbornly clung to life. Having waited long enough, Dennis accelerated her demise. In my previous life, he used slow-acting poison requiring 2 years to finish her. Her death finally freed Prince An to launch his rebellion. But Liam uncovered the truth and betrayed the prince at the critical moment, turning allies into enemies. Originally, this conspiracy would have unfolded 7 years later. Impatient, Liam initiated the poisoning earlier, though I substituted his mild toxin with a lethal one. When the crown prince investigated why a retainer would murder his lord's mother, the trail led directly to Liam, now discovered traveling with Prince An's entourage. Liam's wife voluntarily surrendered an account book he'd entrusted to her, documenting staggering bribes exchanged between Prince An and officials nationwide. The crown prince immediately arrested General Jinwu, then deployed cavalry to intercept Prince An's party. The Anyang estate search revealed forbidden imperial robes and hidden armories, irrefutable evidence of treason. Captured mid-journey, Prince An's rebellion died aborting. Liam's dream of becoming second only to the emperor withered under my hand. Overconfident, he never imagined I'd fabricate evidence where none existed. The night before his execution, I visited his cell. He kept knocking his head against the wall, muttering, "Wrong, all wrong, shouldn't be like this," noticing me. He sneered, "Come to gloat? To grant you clarity." Realization dawned. Impossible. You couldn't have known about that account book, it shouldn't exist for another decade. In truth, Liam had secretly kept the ledger after Prince An's previous downfall, using it to manipulate compromised officials. He'd also never mentioned consort Mu's murder. "Sophia told me," I said calmly. "You treated her as a replacement." Confiding everything, she told me all. The ledger was my forgery reconstructed from memory since returning. Liam laughed hysterically. "So I'm defeated by the woman I loved. Don't insult Sophia. You never loved her. And Evelyn? Our plan succeeded through her cooperation. They'd quickly become lovers, even conceiving a child. She can't visit," I continued. "For her testimony, the crown prince spared her. She's now married to a provincial merchant. Pity your mother, no execution needed. The shock of your treason killed her." Enraged, he lunged. "You viper! My mother never wronged you. You killed her through your ambition," I replied. Turning to leave, I added, "Your beloved mentor Dennis? Also mine." 6 months after Liam's death, Oliver and I married. Our wedding night, he asked, "Hypothetically, if Liam had proposed to you first, would you have accepted?" Without a hint of blush or fluster, I lied through my teeth, "Of course not. He doesn't hold a candle to you in any way. Why would I ever choose him? Besides, I've always known about your childhood crush on me." He turned adorably pink. "Well then, why'd you never mention it before?" "Because my love only blossomed after our vows." "Why ask this suddenly?" I traced his jawline. "A nightmare," he murmured against my lips between kisses. Horrifying, but thank God it wasn't real.